Hello and welcome to the latest version of the Impact Rooms, where today I'm joined by Sarah Whiddet, who is the Client Partner Director at Kantar. Previously, Sarah has worked for Bid Food, where she was the Customer Insight and Marketing Head of. So, Sarah, nice of you to join us today. How are you on this lovely morning?
I'm all right, I'm good. I'm a little bit tired. I've got young children that don't sleep. So I have been up since 3. So I'm glad we're doing it now and not this afternoon because I'll be talking gobbledygook, but I'm all right. I'm okay. Are you okay? You good?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Good.
similar thing actually. My daughter's got a cold as well, so yeah, we'll probably just be going through this like zombies by the end, but we'll get through it, I'm sure. But obviously it'd be good to ask you a few questions today and find out a little bit more about your journey to the position you're in today, really. So, but we'll start with the normal question to break the ice. So, what is your favourite travel destination and why?
Yeah, I know you asked people this, and it's a really tough one. I just don't think I'm that well travelled. I was thinking about this, and my youth was all pontins and havens. That was what I was brought up on. So we didn't get to go abroad a lot. And when I finished university, first thing I did was buy a flat. So I kind of invested in property and didn't really do the whole travelling thing that people did. So I feel quite untravelled compared to lots of people. But we did do Thailand backpacking a few times, and I would say if I could go back to Thailand circa 2006, before things got too commercialized, when it really was that kind of backpacking vibe on the beach and a beanbag, having a sing a beer, watching a movie and a big screen, that was perfection. Pre-kids, chilled out holiday in Thailand. Yeah, if I could
Lovely.
travel back there, that'd be perfect.
Well, you're more travelled than me anyway. So I don't know why I asked people. I went to Tenerife for my honeymoon, so I'm not travelled anywhere. But yeah, so but fine. So obviously it'd be good to if we could kind of get you to do a quick elevator pitch, really, just a quick sentence or two to tell everyone about yourself, really.
Yeah. Okay. So a marketer. I've got over 15 years experience, mixed background. So I'm currently at Kantar, but I've got a background in insight, customer experience, customer marketing, done kind of food and drink on and off trade. I've done a bit of retail, a bit of banking. So got a bit of a mixed background. Kind of personal passions, really who I am. I'm a bit of a kind of relentless forward thinker. I'm always kind of, well, how can things be better? What's coming up around the corner? How can we make things more efficient? That's kind of what drives me, really, and that's what kind of keeps me going. So all my roles have kind of had a bit of that in it. Kind of how can I improve things and make things better?
Great. Yeah, perfect. Okay, fine. And what do you see as the biggest opportunity within data and insight at the moment?
Yeah, we were talking about this before about kind of different skill sets and different things, and I think I am not technical at all. I can work with basic data tables, but I'm not particularly over technical. And I think the thing that's given me the kind of leg up, and I think it gives lots of other people, is around the skill around influencing, this kind of soft skill. And I would say that's kind of probably relevant across any sector. But almost taking apart all the technical stuff, it's a soft skill, but it's quite hard to define and hard to define, encapsulate, and get better at, I think. But if you can influence people, if you can make action driven from your work, from the way you speak to people, the way you write, the connections you make, that will make you far more successful. So I think it's concentrating on that side. That's the key bit, I think, of kind of driving our industry and any industry forward, is the ability to influence, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I mean, obviously, we're seeing a lot in the press and the articles across data at the moment around this kind of no code data and stuff, and I think it's data's brilliant, but if you can't influence to tell someone why it's important, and obviously I wrote articles recently around Chris Whitty. Before COVID, no one knew what an R number is. Now we're all searching what the R number is, and it is because he's influenced the whole country to believe in the COVID data. It's brilliant. Okay, fine. So obviously, as you say, you've now progressed to this kind of director level. Obviously, you've come through a different industry. So what one piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to progress their career in insight?
I think it's about being curious and kind of not staying in your lane, which I think is probably something that I'm probably guilty of. But I think if you come into a role and you're given some objectives and you work really hard against them, yes, you'll do great, but you'll probably do even better if you just look a bit broader outside your role. And I think, talk to people that don't work in necessarily your role in the business and other teams, get involved in other projects externally to your business, get involved in networking organizations, industry bodies, awards, that network you build up and that experience help you in terms of knowing the right people to go to for different things, but also you learn tips and tricks, what works, what doesn't work elsewhere, and you can bring it into your business. So I think being a bit more broad-minded in your thinking, not just coming in and going, this is my role, this is what I need to get good at, and thinking more broadly than that, I think will open up more opportunities to you. Definitely.
Okay, great. So, yeah, because obviously yourself, I mean, if anyone does follow Sarah on LinkedIn or whatever, well, I'm sure you'll probably follow after this session, but you did, when you moved on from Bid Food, you did a lot of kind of personal messages, didn't you? Talked about the industry and stuff. And is that kind of building that kind of piece up and being known in the industry, and having that kind of network and stuff around you?
Yeah, my network was amazing. Like I didn't realize the value of your network until you need it. So when I was redundant, I was looking for a new job. You don't realize what you've built up until you need to rely on it, and so that is why it's always important to have your network, because it will be there when you need it.
No, great stuff. Okay, fine. And what would you say was your biggest career break? And obviously, if there's anyone you want to thank for it, now might be a good time to do it.
It's a tough one. Career break. I've definitely got people that have helped me along the way, but I would say I do have this kind of theory that yes, you have kind of inherent kind of privileges in certain ways, but you almost make your own luck a little bit as well. And I do think when it comes to career breaks, when I talk to people that I mentor, I say, be careful of the kind of X factor effect where you think you can be sitting on your Tesco doing the till, and one day someone's going to find you and make you a star. I think you're much more likely to be made a star if, as well as doing that, at the weekend you're going for auditions, you're releasing stuff on YouTube, you're doing X, Y, and Z and putting yourself out there. So I think I've had definitely a few lucky breaks, but I would also say those lucky breaks came to me more likely because I was pushing myself out there all the time. And I think that's probably a good bit of advice. I've definitely had a couple of good managers, especially one director at Bid Food previously, who, when I came into a role, saw some opportunity in me and gave me a promotion into a role that was a much bigger remit than I had, because he thought that I could take it on and gave me much more responsibility. And I have a lot to thank him for, because that kind of set me off on a bit of a trajectory. But I think if you're looking for that big break just to come out of nowhere, it's not going to happen. Like, you need to push yourself out there, and big breaks just naturally kind of come to you a bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's so true. Great points. I mean, because say, like, it's, I suppose, I mean, you can look at Susan Boyle at Britain's Got Talent, obviously going back to the X Factor, she obviously was doing stuff, and say she went, well, you know what, I'm going to go onto one of these contests and show people what I can actually do, just to link back to the X Factor point. But yeah, no, it's brilliant. Great points. Okay, fine. So obviously, as you say, you obviously worked in insight and marketing for a while now. I mean, what inspires you? What gets you out of bed every morning? And what do you love about what you do?
I think it's the variety. I'm a bit of a fixer, so I love problem solving, which I kind of touched on before. So I get excited when I see there's something that could be made better or more efficient. So that's what interests me. And I think you can get those roles within insight or customer experience or marketing. There's always a way you can change things and influence things. So that's always been a big part of my role. But a big part that I enjoy that's not, I guess, in part of my remit is around employees and people. So kind of a personal passion is around culture. And people engagement and that sort of thing is something that I'm really interested in, because I think you can't influence people and drive that change if you're not thinking about the people as well. So yeah, that any ability I have to influence, improve, change, anything to do with people or customers, that gets me excited. And I think in the world of insight and customer experience, you've got that opportunity there on a plate for you to take.
Yeah, brilliant points. Okay, great. So obviously, it was really, really good to learn, and obviously, thanks for your time. So it was great to learn a lot about your journey and obviously about yourself more. If you wouldn't mind, obviously, you've worked with ourselves a couple of times over the last few years. So, I mean, it'd be good to kind of hear about a little bit, obviously, your experience of working with myself, and how would you describe that experience?
Yeah, we have, and I think it's kind of just felt like natural, really, and quite organic in a way. And I think you've got a nice style about you, that we've just had lots of informal conversations over the years at different points, haven't we? I think just connecting up, and I think getting your viewpoint on where the market is and what I'm looking for and what I'm doing. And I think it's just having that ongoing conversation, because when opportunities arrive, either I'm looking for something or I'm looking for someone in a team, that I've got people to call on. And I think that's where I've really seen the strength in you, rather than, I guess, with some agencies, they dip in very hard when you actually have a particular job you're going for. I think I appreciate the more ongoing relationship. I think that pays dividends in the long term. I think I've really appreciated that.
No, great stuff. Perfect. So thanks for joining us today. Obviously, it was a great session today. Good, lovely to hear from yourself, and obviously hear from your journey, and hopefully it inspires more. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Perry.
Cheers, Sarah.